In 1998, if you walked into the headquarters of Enron in Houston, Texas, you would see a miracle. You would see a trading floor buzzing with action. You would see the smartest men in America making billions of dollars in seconds. You would see private jets waiting on the runway and parties that never ended. It looked like the most successful company on earth. But if you looked closer, just a little bit closer, you would notice something strange. The phones on the desks, they weren't connected to anything. The traders shouting orders, they were actually secretaries and actors paid to look busy. The billions of dollars on the screens, they were just imaginary numbers typed into a computer. It was all a stage play. A Hollywood set built to fool the world. But while they were acting, real people were suffering. They turned off the electricity for millions of grandmothers in California just to make the stock price go up. They stole retirement funds from their own employees while they sold their own shares. This wasn't just a bankruptcy. It was the biggest corporate crime scene in history. Just 24 days, a $60 billion empire turned into dust. This is the story of Enron. Welcome to the Money Files. To understand how a boring natural gas company became a glamorous tech giant, we have to meet two men. First, there was Kenneth Lay, the calm, grandfatherly figure who founded Enron. He shook hands with presidents and charmed Wall Street. He wanted Enron to be the biggest company in the world, but he didn't know how to get there. That's when he hired Jeffrey Skilling. Skilling was aggressive, brilliant, and arguably a psychopath. He didn't want to just sell gas, he wanted to trade it like stocks. He transformed Enron from a company that owned pipelines into a financial logistics company. Under Skilling, Enron stopped dealing in physical reality and started dealing in pure speculation. They started trading everything: electricity, bandwidth, and even the weather. Yes, they actually bet on the weather. And for a while, it seemed like they could do no wrong. They were named America's most innovative company for 6 years in a row. But innovation is a dangerous word when it's used to hide the truth. Jeff Skilling had a problem. Real business is hard, and profits take time. But Skilling wanted the stock price to go up now. So, he convinced the government to let Enron use a special accounting method called mark-to-market. This was the weapon that killed the company. Here is how it worked. If Enron signed a deal to sell gas for 10 years, they would estimate how much profit they might make over the next decade, and they would book all of that profit today, right now. Imagine if you opened a lemonade stand, and you assumed you would sell 1 million cups in the next 10 years. So you told everyone you were a millionaire today, even though you hadn't sold a single cup yet. That is exactly what Enron did. They reported billions in profits that didn't exist in the bank. They were rich on paper, but broke in reality. And whenever a deal actually lost money, they simply hid the debt in secret ghost companies created by their CFO, Andrew Fastow. These ghost companies had names like Raptor and Jedi, and their only purpose was to eat Enron's debt so Wall Street wouldn't see it. Inside the glass tower of Enron, the atmosphere was toxic. Jeff Skilling introduced a brutal performance review system called Rank and Yank. Every 6 months, all employees were ranked from 1 to 5. If you were in the top, you got massive bonuses and keys to a Ferrari. If you were in the bottom 15%, you were fired. Immediately, security would escort you out of the building. This created a culture of pure survival. Employees became cutthroat. They didn't care about ethics. They only cared about closing the deal at any cost to survive the next review. Paranoia spread through the hallways. People sabotaged each other. It wasn't a team, it was a pit of vipers. And this desperation led to their most evil scheme yet. By the year 2000, Enron was running out of real money. They needed a new way to squeeze cash from the system. They turned their eyes to California. Enron traders realized they controlled enough of the power grid to manipulate the supply of electricity. They discovered that if they shut down power plants on purpose, the supply of electricity would drop and the price would skyrocket. So that's what they did. In the middle of scorching hot summers, Enron traders called power plants and told them to get a little creative and shut down for maintenance. Rolling blackouts hit California. Traffic lights stopped working. Elevators got stuck. Hospitals had to run on backup generators. Grandmothers sat in the dark without air conditioning. While California suffered, Enron traders cheered. Audio tapes later recovered by the FBI revealed traders laughing and chanting "Burn, baby, burn." While the party was raging, one woman saw the iceberg ahead. Sharon Watkins, an accountant at Enron, started looking at the numbers. She realized the math didn't add up. The ghost companies were about to collapse, and if they did, Enron would owe billions of dollars it didn't have. She was terrified. In August 2001, she wrote an anonymous letter to Kenneth Lay. She warned him, "I am incredibly nervous that we will implode in a wave of accounting scandals." She tried to save the company, but she was ignored. Kenneth Lay didn't fix the problem. He tried to cover it up. He actually went on TV and told employees to buy more Enron stock, told them the company was stronger than ever. Meanwhile, he and the other executives were quietly selling their own shares, cashing out millions before the ship sank. And in late 2001, the truth finally came out. Wall Street analysts started asking simple questions that Jeff Skilling couldn't answer. The stock price began to slide. The ghost companies failed. The debt came flooding back onto Enron's books. The credit rating agencies downgraded them to junk status. It was a death spiral. On December 2nd, 2001, Enron filed for bankruptcy. Overnight, the stock went from $90 to just a few cents. Employees who had put their entire life savings into Enron's retirement fund lost everything. They walked out of the building carrying boxers, crying with nothing to show for years of loyalty. The executives. They had already made their millions, but the law eventually caught up. Jeff Skilling was sentenced to 24 years in prison. Andrew Fastow got 6 years. And Kenneth Lay, he was found guilty, but died of a heart attack before he could spend a single day in jail. Enron was a company built on a beautiful lie. It showed us that suits and ties can hide the darkest of crimes. It showed us that when greed becomes the only goal, humanity is the first thing to be sacrificed. Today, Enron is gone, but the pressure to fake success is stronger than ever. So, the next time you see a company that looks too good to be true, ask yourself, is it real? Or is it just another stage play waiting for the lights to go out? If you want to know the truth about money, subscribe to the Money Files. See you in the next one.